Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Anoka said, praise be to the earthly mother, the Mama Pacha. Praise be to the Kahe, the Holy Spirit, in the name of his only begotten Son, Motsah the Lamb, unification to the nation. So, we're going to look into the lost tribes of Sinim once more. Now, I don't know how much I'm going to read of a lot of this information, but I guess I'm just going to lay the groundwork so that it'd be, you'd have an easier time understanding maybe what you're reading. That's what I hope to accomplish. I hope that you've already seen the video that I did on where did Lehi go? Or how does the Book of Mormon make sense if Israel or if Jerusalem is where I think is in Peru or Salt Lake City or wherever it is. How does it make sense? Right? And I suggest you go watch that video first. But now we're going to speak a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper into Sinim. Now, if you've seen a video that I did a while ago, I explained to you that Sin is one of the Canaanites, one of the sons of Canaan. And Sin inhabited the ancient land of China. That's why you see all these ancient white people in China before anyone else. People wonder why that is. You also find pyramids in China, right? Because China was attached to India. India was attached to Kumari Kingdom. Kumari Kingdom was attached to Africa as well as Australia. Australia was attached to Antarctica. Antarctica was attached to South America. So all the lands were all attached. Egypt was a big place. It was worldwide. That's why it was incredible when the Israelites were taken out of Egypt. Egypt is pretty much the same how it is today, except it was way bigger and better. But the Most High is going to really show what time it is this time around. Because the punishment that we've gone through is so much more than what it was in ancient Egypt. So, I'm going to play a little bit of UP's video. The directions are still confusing, but I think my theory still stands because I'm trying to translate the Egyptian directions into the proper directions. So, because after we came out of Egypt, I'm pretty sure we were using the Egyptian directions. As it says in the books of remembrance, we were corrupted since Egypt. So if we were corrupted since Egypt, then our sense of direction was corrupted. It's the same way how we think of north, south, east, and west today. We have an American view of direction. But we don't understand our ancient view even now, even today. So we're going to play some of his video, and then I'm going to explain what I mean.
Hebrew East is Egyptian South.
You get that? Hebrew East is Egyptian South. So this is what I think. I think originally, at the beginning, the compass was just flipped. Like north was south, east was west, right? When the Egyptians came into power, this was turned about 90 degrees to the left, right? So east would have been south, south would have been west, west would have been north, north would have been east. Now I'm trying to convert it back. So I'm pretty much turning south back into east. And I'm turning east back into north. So when it talks about the Yam, right, it's talking about the sea that is west currently of Jerusalem, going to the left of Jerusalem. That is the Yam Sea. But the Yam Sea can also be, talking about towards the east or the south, right? And if it's talking about the west, then it's because of how the Hebrews look at directions. So if you're looking towards the east, you're facing the west. If you're looking towards the west, you're facing the east. That's kind of how they think of things. So I don't know which ways sometimes the direction has been flipped or what it's talking about, but Yam originally, it either means south or east. So when it talks about how Joktan went south, Joktan went east, he's talking about west, which would be the Pacific Islands and so on and so forth. Right? But when it also talks about how Queen Sheba is the queen of the south, it's also talking about the west, or anciently the east. Right? So I'm just putting that out there. I told you guys to read this before, because Sinim is talking about a far country, right? And even the scripture, behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north and from the west, and these from the land of Sinim. So why does it not refer to the east and the south? Why does it say the north and the west and the land of Sinim? Because the land of Sinim both covers the east and the south. You get it? Because the land of Sin is over there, in Asia. That's what the land of Sin is considered. Sinim just means lands of sin. One of the sons of Canaan. So he's going to bring us from the north, right? Which is probably like, Africa or whatever. The west we could be in the west right now, according to those directions, and from Asia, pretty much. Or what it really just means is the four corners. But I'm just laying this groundwork for you guys. So I went over this in the video, and I said, in his days the children were divided, forming two kingdoms, the one in Jerusalem, or here in the Americas, and the other near the borders of Chinnerith in the foothills of Patach, which is somewhere over there, in the so-called east. Could be in that land they call Israel. Could be in India. Could be in Africa. I don't know. But it's somewhere over there. But look, and the descendants of Joseph were assembled unto the northern kingdom. So both Ephraim and Manasseh, or just the tribe of Joseph, they were the heads or the leaders of the northern kingdom, whatever kingdom that they had over there. And during that kingdom, they were intermarrying or intermixing with the Assyrians. But who were the Assyrians? When you look into the Assyrians were pretty much quadroons or mulattoes. Because the Assyrians, they were known for gene splicing, right? Or they also just, they also came from the line of Canaan. Because I'm pretty sure that Assur, I think he comes from Javan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he comes from the Shemite Assur. I think he just comes from, one of the lines of Cain. But I have to look into that. But we're gonna get into that anyway when I get into the war scrolls, and we're gonna touch on the Assyrians. But either way, the Assyrians, they were a mixed stock of people. So when the northern kingdom was mixing it up with them, that's what they were doing. So yeah, they're definitely going to look different. The tribe of Joseph over there were definitely going to look different. Are they going to look like complete white people? Some could. I don't know. I doubt it, because we're still supposed to go through a captivity, and so-called white people do not get it as hard as anyone else. They don't get it even as hard as Asians. They don't. So if the majority of the tribe of Joseph looks like white people, that's very hard to believe. I'm just keeping it a buck. But I don't know, right? I don't reject anyone. I'm just saying, I'm just sharing my research pretty much. But anyway, let's move on. This is a book that's out of print. I think I showed it to you in the last part. But this person makes a good point. He said the Bible distinctively says they were with Ephraim, for the words are all the house of Israel, his companions, and that their seed was brought to be was to be brought from the land of their captivity, and that it was Judah that was scattered all over the four corners of the earth. And that's because Judah was ruling all over the earth. I'm telling you, the tribe of Judah were the ones who were the kings. And if it wasn't Judah, it was Ephraim. I know people will be like, oh, it's Ephraim. I get it. I don't want to say Ephraim every time. Let's see. Joseph, we know, married an Egyptian, the daughter of the priest On, or the son, and probably this priest was a brother of Pharaoh, who likely was chief priest to the son, and his name would indicate Farah, being the Egyptian word for son. You're doing a lot of guessing. Gilead, the head of Manasseh, likewise married an Armitis, so that Ephraim, or the royal house of Israel, originally was half Jewish and half Egyptian. And Manasseh had 2/3 foreign blood and only 1/3 Jewish blood in their veins. And with this book, there is a lot of information in this book, a lot of good information, but know that it comes from the perspective of an identity-stealing face rat. And how he views the world is that, oh, you got to be pure-blooded, this and that. When these people are converts, talking about pure-blooded this and that. Anyone who talks about, oh, like you're a mamzer this, you're a mamzer that, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like convert talk. That sounds like you're overcompensating for something. That's what it really sounds like. So when all these, these Africa dudes talking about, oh, that person's mixed, that person's a manager, I'm gonna think you're a convert, honestly, because no one is gonna view their brothers like that. No one who actually has the spirit of the Most High is gonna care, right? No one is going to care if they are inhibiting the spirit of the Most High. If you can't see it, then we're not probably related. You're probably just a convert. There's a lot of people who converted over there. A lot of people who converted. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, you can look through this book. It really pretty much mentions the fact that Ephraim and Manasseh were traveling all over, right? They were the biggest tribes and the biggest influencers all around the so-called three parts in Africa, Europe, and Asia. Scattered all around. The Northern Kingdom is huge. The people we have over here is not even all the people. The people we have different groups of Israelites here. We have the original ones, and there's not very many who look like, the originals. Maybe some Indians on the East Coast, some Indians of the Caribbean, some Indians in Central America, but there's not many of them that look original, because there's been a lot of mixing and miscegenation way before any European got here. Way before. So I don't know who anyone is. That's for one. But everyone is literally mixed. That's the thing. There was different groups of Israelites who are here. There's the mixed, looking ones, which is, damn near most of the population in some sort of way. There's that. There's the ones who came over here. The 10 tribes that came back over here. That came from Asia, came across the Pacifics. Right? Some of them came from Africa. That's why you'll see some of the the Indians on the East Coast, they're much darker than the ones on the West Coast. You will notice that. The ones on the East Coast are darker than the ones on the West Coast. They look more African, quote unquote. The ones in the east coast, on the west coast, look more Asian. Because people came over here. Some people were Israelites, some people weren't. But I don't know. Like, getting into looks is kind of stupid. But let me get into this, because now, after I'm reading all of this, now I'm realizing, what the tribe of Joseph did, how they were going up high, as it says, with these other Gentile nations. And when I'm talking about Gentiles, I'm talking about the Isles of the Gentiles. I'm talking about West Europe. I'm not necessarily talking about Ham and Japheth. I'm talking about the line of Cain. That's really what I'm referring to when I'm talking about Gentiles. And the line of Cain is spread out, a great deal. But the majority of them are in West Europe, right? Now this makes a hell of a lot more sense. And lo, a bull upon the earth with two great horns and an eagle's wings upon its back. And we wished to seize him, but could not. Now listen to this. But Joseph came and seized him and ascended up high, and ascended up with him on high. You see that? I didn't know what that meant. This really just meant when they were intermarrying and intermixing and, being buddy-buddy with the Gentiles. And I saw, for I was there, and behold, a holy writing appeared to us, saying, Assyrians, Medes, Persians, Chaldeans, Syrians shall possess in captivity the 12 tribes of Israel. And after, Joseph, he was being a whore for these different nations, that is when the nations backstabbed him. And this is exactly what the Motsah was talking about in Hosea 7. This is what he was talking about. All this cake not turned. Yes, I understand the tribe of Ephraim is going to look like every damn body, but well, actually, no, that is what it means. That is what it means. The fact that he's going to look like a bunch of different nations, because that's prophesied with his coat of many colors. But the Most High said in the Book of Mormon that he's going to kill a lot of the tribe of Joseph. He's going to kill a lot of you. You don't understand? He's going to kill a lot of you guys. The same way how the coat of many colors, how there's only a remnant of it left, that's the same thing that's going to happen with the tribe of Ephraim. So it doesn't matter if he looks like everyone. He's only going to save those who have repented. So don't think you're too high just because you're an Israelite, or you think you're an Israelite. Because if you're not repented and you're not moving in the spirit of the Most High, who's to say that you're saved? But anyway, when I would have healed Israel, then the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered, and the wickedness of Samaria, for they commit falsehood, and the thief cometh in, and the troop of robbers spoileth without. So what they were doing in Samaria, they were just intermarrying, intermixing, not following the Most High, doing whatever. It was pretty much like America now. No one knows anything. They turned away from the religion or the faith of their forefathers. They didn't want to be Israelites anymore. That is why Hamashiac had to come. And of course, isn't the only reason. Like, people say, oh, he only came for Israel. He came for Israel, but he didn't only come for Israel. That's not true. It's just not true. You have to read other books, and they will let you know why exactly he came, because he always had to come. But because of what Israel did, he especially had to come for them. He had to come for these people, right? Right? Even though he said don't go to Samaria, he had to come for the scattered tribe who was scattered around Asia, Europe, Africa. He had to come for them. Because after you've mixed yourself up and you don't have any of your records, who are you? How can you come back? They're not going to allow you to come back. That's the whole point. This is supposed to be about Japan. It's just turning into Ephraim. I don't know. Maybe I should just let you guys just read this on your own. I'll just put the links in the description. Anyway, let's continue. And they considered not in their hearts that I remember all their wickedness. Now their own doings have beset them about. They are before my face. They make the king glad with their wickedness, and the princes with their lies. Hey, they're pretty much saying that the Most High is pretty much saying that they're whoring for these other nations. Tribe of Asher doing the same thing. Tribe of Dan absolutely doing the same thing. Tribe of Dan was there since day one. He was dropping it low for the other nations since day one, bro. Because he pretty much is one. Tribe of Dan, they were there first. Then the tribe of Judah, they were there. The house of David, they were there, right? And these different parts of these different lands, those were the ones who were in the Middle East. Not the first Israelites, the tribe of Dan were, but the tribe of Judah were there. And then Ephraim and Manasseh, Reuben, Manasseh, and Gad, they were there. Tribe of Asher. That's pretty much the northern kingdom, right? Now, where did the northern kingdom go? I'm still not sure. I still don't know. They said that they went to a land that never man had governed or dwelt. That could have been Australia, and then it froze over, and then they moved into the Americas after it froze over. They could have went to some sort of sunken land and moved away. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they went to North America. Maybe it was talking about that. I don't know. Let me see. They are adulterers, as an oven heated by the baker, who ceasing from raising after he hath kneaded the dough until it be leavened. So, they're waiting like an oven for a pastry to be inserted in it. Pretty much calling them whores. Hey, the people they're so adamant about not saying bad words, but you do realize that the scriptures was written literally in that way, and they had to censor it, right? Like there's some very explicit things that were in the scriptures that they just censored. The Song of Solomon, when it talks about a bag of mirth, it wasn't talking about a bag of mirth, or eating fruit from the garden. It wasn't talking about that. I'm just saying. And it literally said the words. In the day of, let me just read. I'm gonna just mention this because my sister mentioned this to me. Even when the Most High is talking about Israel, he's pretty much calling Israel a whore that has pretty much been attached, to the rod, and saying, well, is the issue to I can't even say it. This is just really it's too much, man. But anyway, in the day of our king, the princes have made him sick with bottles of wine. He stretched out his hand with scorners, for they have made ready their heart like an oven, whilst they lie in wait. Their baker sleepeth all night. In the morning it burneth as a flaming fire. As he said, they're leaving themselves open. They want the approval of these other nations. This is what the tribe of Joseph wants. Was really talking about Ephraim. When he's talking about Ephraim, he's talking about Ephraim and Manasseh, right? Because both of them were there. They are all hot as an oven. They have devoured their judges. All their kings are fallen. There is none among them that calleth unto me. This is what the northern kingdom was doing, which is really Ephraim, Manasseh, Reuben, Manasseh, Gad, Asher, Dan. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. So he mixed himself among the Assyrians, among the Greeks, among all those, among all the seed line of Cain, pretty much. Right? Strangers have devoured his strength, and he knoweth it not. Yea, gray hairs are here and there upon him, yet he knoweth not. So if you see all these Assyrians, that seem almost part black. Why do you think? Like, I don't understand why you'd want to, mix yourselves with these other nations. You would literally have superior genes. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. You have some sort of issue. You have some sort of mental deficiency if you really feel the need to want to mix yourself with these other nations. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But the Most High is going to match people with, whoever he's going to match them with. I'm not saying that, oh, you're wicked because you're married to so-and-so. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that just in a general standpoint. Why? I just don't get that. Maybe it's a Northern Kingdom thing. And they do not return to the Lord their God, nor seek him for all this. Ephraim also is like a silly dove without heart. They call to Egypt, they go to Assyria. They call to America, and they stay where they are, pretty much. Right? They say, oh yeah, they're calling to their brethren back home, right? But they don't move. They stay there. That's why he calls them a silly dove without heart. He just talks all this ish, but they don't do anything. Right? Now the scripture makes so much more sense, man. I don't even feel like getting into this, man. I'm gonna leave these links in the description because this is just a lot of reading, and this stuff is it's already there, man. These people did the research, and now that you know what you need to know about the Northern Kingdom, you can know where the migration patterns, were. Pretty much, they pretty much scattered around Asia. They were the samurais. They were the Buddhists. They were the Negritos. And they mixed themselves with the other nations, as it says. They created all these entities. They were with the Assyrians, doing a bunch of stupidity and wickedness. And this person says it from the the white person Jewish perspective, but there's still a lot of information here as well. So if you guys are interested, check out these 3 links. This is a bit too much to read, honestly. There's a lot of information here if you want to know about it. So until next time, say la kala, shalom.